I thought our effort was much better than when we scrimmaged Ohio State a week ago. I thought did a really good job of taking care of the ball, which it always concerns you early in the year. Turning the ball over, playing careless. I thought our guys in those two areas played harder defensively, and we did a much better job of taking care of the ball and not throwing it to the other team, which we didn't do against Ohio State. So, we're like a lot of teams. We got a long way to go. There were some good things that happened and some things that we have to get better at. I thought Thomas More, especially in the second half, really tested our defensive patience because they played so long into the shot clock. And, we're not necessarily used to that in practice, but it's a good lesson for our guys. And outside of maybe a 2-minute spurt, I thought our guys had really good attention and were locked in and played extremely hard, got on the floor. Didn't think that we were entitled to anything. I thought we went out there and tried to earn it. I love those guys over at Thomas More. Terry Connor's been really great to my family. We moved recently, so I don't go over to Thomas More as much, but I take my girls over there, and he always lets us in the gym if practice isn't going on. And Drew's doing a really good job, and Jeff, the women's coach over there. So they are very near and dear to my heart, and I wish them the best.
I hadn't heard you were moving.
What's that?
I hadn't heard you were moving. You did that very quietly.
Yep.
Where is the team at health-wise right now, Chris?
I think in a good spot. We had to play some guys a lot longer than we'd normally. Najee was out there. I limited JP for the first 4 minutes of the second half and then shut him down. And so that put Najee out there 10 minutes at a time. And, you're going to cramp if you play that hard for so long, especially this early in the year. But, Trayvon, was out there in warm-ups. Feel like if everything goes the way we plan, that he'll play Friday night. JP probably could have gone longer, but we're not counting this game, so I'd rather get some experience for our younger guys, who I thought did a really good job. But I think we're actually getting healed up at the right time.
Najee, as you just mentioned, got a lot of time, 25 minutes tonight. How would you assess how he played? He had some explosive plays. How would you, through your lens, see him on offense and defense today?
He's a great player. He's fun to coach. He thought really was attentive on the defensive end, and he jumped to the ball and kept his man in front of him. He rebounded on both ends of the floor. Surprised he didn't finish, especially in the first half, around the basket a few times, because I think that's what he does really well. But I'm sure there's some game nerves. First time that you see what you guys started. You guys started, and we're he's learning. He's a freshman, but I thought he's going to be a really, really good player for us. And he grew up from the Ohio State game. He was very casual with the ball against Ohio State. And I thought, not only Najee, but our whole team, but specifically Najee. He had like 6 turnovers against Ohio State. And, tonight he has, doesn't have any, or he has 2. But, I thought for the most part he's played really strong with the ball.
Probably not the best matchup for Sean, but he didn't have a field goal today. What are your expectations from him this season, especially coming off of how well he played at the end of last season?
Play like a senior. Sean sometimes plays with the rain cloud over his head, and it drives me nuts. And he needs to change that. He drops a ball, he drops 2 balls. He starts looking around, looking down. We don't have time for that. He's a senior. We do not have time for that. And it stinks that I haven't figured it out yet. But ultimately, you have to be ready to play. You've played in 90 games, however amount of games he's played in. He's battling 6'4" kids that weigh 200 pounds. He just has to play with more of a motor and more desire, and not play nervous, and not play like things are, things aren't going his way.
In the same vein, Chris, have you seen some separation at that position, and do you have an idea of how you'd like to play that? Who you'd like to play there?
Well, they're all going to play. So, I mean, if you're asking me who's going to start, Tyreek started today. I thought he did a really good job. He rebounded the heck out of the ball. He's got to be able to extend his motor longer than two and a half, 3 minutes. You know, the same guy that's high flying, blocking shots, rebounding, can't be the guy that's, you know, walking up the floor and posting on the opposite block of the ball when he gets tired. He knows that. I've been direct with him. Sean played miserable today, and he hasn't been doing that in practice, but you know, and then Karam, I thought he has moments, and then he had some not-so-good moments. So, again, when a guy asserts himself, he'll play. And if they play exceedingly well and tough, then I'll figure out a way to play two of them at the same time.
Chris, that first 4-minute war in the second half, it just seemed like that was like total domination.
I thought we were ready to play both in the beginning of the game. And when our team doesn't really know what to expect, we didn't do a whole lot of scouting. We did talk about a lot of the curl cuts and the motion that Thomas More was going to play with, and to put themselves in a good position off the ball, they needed to jump towards the direction of the pass so that they could sort of shortcut screens and not chase their man like a tail on a dog. And I thought we were ready to play first half, and we followed that up with being ready to play in the second half. And good teams do that.
They weren't able to get the ball inside against you, and then they couldn't shoot from the outside. How would you assess the defense today?
I thought our guys played really hard. You know, no disrespect to Thomas More, that they don't have the talent to play with our guys, but you know, I sort of gave our guys a story that, you know, when you're a ball player and you walk into a high school gym, maybe in your own city when you're still in high school, you know, and you get to the level of our players, you know, you have a reputation. You have a reputation when you walk in the gym and everybody sort of looks around and says, hey, that's a big-time player right there. But are you just your reputation? Do you leave and they say, that guy's not as good as I thought he was? Or do you show the people that you're the best player in the gym? And I thought our team had that same type of storyline coming into the game. Everybody knew we have the better players. We're a Division I program. We should be better, but it's not because of all the periphery stuff. It's what happens between the lines, and I was really excited to watch our guys dive on the floor and play really hard and take nothing for granted.
Chris, there was a stretch where I think Thomas More outscored you guys 11-2, something like that. You called a timeout. In a game like this where there is a gulf in talent and maybe it's hard to pull significant things from the game, teaching moments, was that a stretch that you'll be able to pick on and over the next week and kind of use to teach the guys up?
I just think that our players have to continue to get in better shape to be able to extend their effort and their concentration throughout an entire possession, throughout an entire half, throughout an entire game. And again, some of our guys played a little bit, you know, more than they normally might. You know, it started with Quentin missing an easy layup. You know, he beat his defender down the lane in transition. And I thought he put a little too much whipped cream on it. You know, just sort of curly cued the layup instead of finishing it. And if he finishes that, then I think, you know, Thomas More has a different feel coming back up the floor. But that led to an 8-0 run, and I talked about it. So hopefully those start to get squashed and we can keep concentration for the entire game.